Jay right away. Jay's amazing. He's like the best client.
Jerry, how are we doing today?
We're doing all right. Just wrapping up the job for client, beautiful slate roof. I just coordinated with him, showing him some photos. Gonna be with him next week on site just to go over the whole project.
Very stressed out because he's buying a house today.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. I'm looking at a nice house today, yes. But yeah, other than that, we're just gonna meet up there, take a look at the job, see if there's anything that he wants us to correct, or if there's any garbage that was left behind that our guys need to pick up, and make sure the client's 100% happy.
So we're here on this little bit of a, snow day. Snowed yesterday. Just a little bit of a recap of our job over at Baby Point. It's just certain things that came up during the project.
I have about 20 phone calls in the morning, and then I make 20 other phone calls to alleviate those 20 phone calls.
I think Saul did those though, no? Jerry, did Saul do those?
The copper?
The returns, yeah.
Well, yeah, the little wall flashing skirts.
I don't know, those little skirts he had.
Yeah, he does, yeah. The skirts on the sides. Yeah. I do a little bit of everything. I order material. I do most of the estimating here. I meet clients, try and sell jobs. If there's any discrepancies or issues on jobs, I make sure that they're addressed. I'm too busy to eat. It's nonstop. We're nonstop. So we have a lot of projects to price. From pricing projects, once you land a project, there's 100 different changes to that project. You gotta juggle a little bit of everything together. It's a time management thing. You have to take notes, make sure your notes are in order, and that's pretty much it. That's my day to day.
'77 Baby Point. Let's go. Jump up.
For me, I was pretty much the one managing most of the project. I did have a little bit of help from the guys in the office, but anything that the guys needed, any materials, anything that they needed at that moment, it's up to me to make sure that they got that, right? All in all, it was a little bit of teamwork that played out and we got the job done, right?
So this is '77 Baby Point, a roof replacement project in Tobico area. Beautiful home, beautiful neighborhood here, beautiful old homes. This house here actually used to have a cedar roof.
Just to go back in time a little bit, when this job started,
Client called us, didn't like the look of the cedar roof, decided he wanted to go with natural slate.
I think that cedar, when you first install it, it looks beautiful, right? It's fresh. But within a couple months, it starts to dull, it starts to fade, it starts to soak the water in.
Natural slate and copper is probably the best roof you can go with, most expensive. This is a natural product, so this is actually a rock.
The weather kind of slowed us down a bit, stopped us from actually getting to the site and actually installing the slate, right? So we had a little bit of a delay from the time that we actually started the job to actually get to install the slate itself.
Natural slate is actually a rock that is quarried in different quarries around the world, and they cut each piece individually, and this gets installed. It's obviously waterproof. This roof will last forever.
Once we actually did get the slate on site, the guys just started banging away, right? Like you guys see, this winter has been pretty mild.
This natural slate is cut in 1/4-inch thickness. We get our natural slate from North Country Slate. This year, the client decided to go with unfading black. This is the most popular color in Toronto due to the fact that I guess back in the day, the unfading black comes from a certain quarry in Quebec. And this is mostly what was installed on the Heritage home back in the day in Toronto. Natural slate obviously is an older type of roofing, and it's kind of a luxury kind of thing nowadays. Only high-end kind of homes get them installed, as it's very expensive and pricey. But it obviously looks beautiful, lasts a long time. That's why you got to use copper flashings with it, because the copper also lasts just as long as the slate.
The main challenge I'd say in the job was dealing with the weather, right? Because if it snows, you're back the next day, you're breaking ice. I think it ran really well. The house turned out beautiful.
In this situation, we used 20 by 10 tiles from North Country Slate with the 8.5-inch exposure. The purpose of the exposure being 8.5, that gives us a 3-inch headlap in between slates. That's our proper waterproofing. The headlap gives us that proper layer for waterproofing.
There was a lot of copper involved in this job, as you can see.
Here in the corner, we did a nice little copper step flashing detail to guide water onto the slate below. If you look tight to the window there, we put a nice J-trim, so the natural slate pieces butt up nice to the J-trim, and it's all waterproofing behind. You're not required to put any caulking or anything there. It's a nice way of finishing it.
It's hard to get copper at the moment, so that played a little bit of a challenge as well.
Copper ridge caps. We did a nice cool little custom detail with the ridge caps with a 1-inch upturn. This is like some little like detail that we normally do nowadays. It looks really nice and clean. We did copper snow guards everywhere.
Compared to other jobs that I have on the go, where a lot of problems rise, a lot of situations come up that it'll stop them from working, or I have to go and search for this and that, or this contractor to come do this before they can continue. Like, we didn't have problems like that too much on this job, right? It was just rip the roof, get the guys there, and start installing the slate.
In the back, we have this little pig valley that basically a bunch of snow and ice is gonna build up there. So we decided on doing that whole area in copper. So we installed all the copper there, double locked and soldered. That way, if any snow or ice builds up in there, it's gonna drain off. Normally we do a flat roof membrane in these little ice boxes, but in this situation, because it's a slate roof, we went with copper. Obviously more costly, but it'll last forever. We did a cool little design detail here on the top of the ridge. As you can see, just a little kind of feature for the client. It's like a design kind of detail with the triangular pieces at the top of the ridge there. Looks beautiful.
And I actually like that the client went with slate. It's pricey, not that much of a difference from cedar because the prices of lumber went up.
So if you look closely, we did mitered hips everywhere as opposed to doing ridge caps. The ridge caps are only on the top of the ridges. So on the mitered hips, you see we had to order some wider slates because you don't want to end up with a tiny, tiny piece of slate there. So every so often we have to go with a wider slate in order to keep that clean mitered hip. Underneath the mitered hips, we obviously have copper soakers. That's what keeps it waterproofed. Very clean look, much more difficult to do this, but obviously it's not all about saving money, you know. It's not all about, obviously we want to go above and beyond, so we do the best of the best. We don't want to just give the client some shitty, you know, cheap looking hips, so we do it the right way.
Everything else you see being used in houses or little renovations, you know, in the construction industry, you know, man-made materials, they don't last, right? Back in the day, they built houses to last, right? Now everybody is trying to use cost-effective things, you know, but honestly, it doesn't last. When you use natural products like slate, especially on the roof, it's gonna last you 100 years, especially when you use copper flashings, right? You want those flashings to last equally as long as the slate will, which it's gonna last, I'd say 100, maybe even more.
Obviously, we did all copper flashings on all the walls to tie into the stone caulk as necessary. We obviously have copper snow guards to keep the water from sliding down, or keeping the ice from sliding down and damaging something or hurting somebody. We also did some custom vents. As you can see, these vents were custom made and soldered. These are exhaust vents. You won't find these anywhere in the store. These were custom made by us. Obviously, it takes more time, but it's the nicest way of doing it. We don't cut no corners here. Like, we'd like to do stuff properly. So everything we do, we go the extra mile because we don't want to just do what's cheapest and easiest. We want to actually do what's nicest, the most custom, and going to be the nicest finish for all our projects, right?
So, as you know, this job was in the Baby Point area. It's actually our, I believe, third project that was in this neighborhood. These houses are beautiful all around. The other two jobs that we did actually did involve copper. Actually, one of them was a copper standing seam roof. The other one was a Da Vinci slate, which is a synthetic slate. It's man-made. Looks almost the same, but obviously it's more cost-effective, and sometimes the clients like that, right? But this house, hands down, probably the best-looking house on the street, if not in the neighborhood. I mean, just look at the photos and pictures for yourself. You judge it. You be the judge of it. You don't even have to listen to what I say.